There's a new entry-level Pioneer DJ controller in town, the DDJ-FLX4. Is it goodbye to the DDJ400, the venerable old controller that people have been using for half a decade and loving? Even our own James Hype is a massive fan of this. Well, that's what we're going to find out today as we take a look at the DDJ-FLX4, compare it to the old model, and also give you a demo of some of the new features on it that make it different. We'll run through exactly what's changed about this unit, and I'll also answer any questions in the comments afterwards, so do be sure to watch through and ask anything you need help with underneath. We're Digital DJ Tips' biggest online DJ school in the world, the home of DJs like Jazzy Jeff, as I said, James Hype, Layback Luke, and many others, so you can trust our opinions on this device. So let's get started looking at what we've got here. This is the same as the DDJ400 in pretty much every physical aspect, which is a really good thing. The DDJ400, which was the entry-level 2-channel Pioneer DJ controller, the first starting point for so many DJs, is a institution, and they've wisely not changed this a lot. And we were a little bit scared they would, because a while back Pioneer DJ launched a new controller in the kind of mid-range called the Flex 6, and we didn't like that very much. We thought the layout of it was a bit, it's just what didn't quite sit together, and we were worried that this would be kind of like more like that than it is, but actually it really is very, very similar to the DDJ400. I'll run through what's different about it a little bit later on, but to start with, hopefully if you've used the other unit, you can see that very little has changed. And as I say, that is a good thing. So we're looking at a very basic 2-channel mixer with a crossfader, 3-band EQ, an effect, trims or level controls, loading and library controls, the strip down this side, which controls the effects just like a Pioneer Club mixer. Down this side we have our levels for microphone, headphones, and headphone mix between Q and master. Here's our headphone Q buttons. 2 small but functional jog wheels, no lights, no internal displays, nothing fancy on those, just small functional jog wheels. Small click rubberized pads, single color, with the selectors for the different pad modes that are available. Rather small but proven pitch faders. Play, pause and cue in Pioneer DJ's usual set out. 2 shift buttons, and then the looping across the top of each of these identical decks is very much standard Pioneer DJ, and your sync buttons are at the top there as well for syncing your 2 channels. Now, one thing that is also good about this, which is brand new and actually a really big deal, is that it works with Serato DJ Lite and DJ Pro as well. DJ Lite for free out of the box, and DJ Pro if you pay for a Serato subscription or buy the software. That's a big deal, and it's official. It's written on the unit. This is a big deal because it seems like the manufacturers of this gear are making it harder for entry-level DJs to choose right at the very beginning. You don't know which software you want to use, not necessarily right at the beginning. When you buy a unit like this, and you've got a choice. So big props to Pioneer DJ for making that the case with this. Also, it's going to work with virtual DJ soon enough, because everything does. So there you go. You've got 3 of the biggest platforms working fine with this out of the box. Now, this is not only the thing that's changed regarding how you can use it, because the other thing that's changed is that it now works with, or will do very, very soon. That's important to tell you because they haven't quite got there yet. But very, very soon, this is going to work with your mobile device, your phone, your tablet, your Android tablet, your iPad. And that's all possible because round the back, they've added USB-C. And they've changed the internals so that it's fully compatible with the forthcoming, at the time of recording this, Rekordbox DJ mobile app. And that means that whether you want to use a phone, whether you want to use a tablet, whether you want to use your Mac or Windows laptop, there is a free software option that you can use. They've tried to make it as universal as possible. A big change from the DDJ400, and some of those ideas have come across from the more entry-level DDJ200 unit, which had some limitations, which meant we couldn't kind of universally recommend that one. This one doesn't have those limitations. So certainly come early 2023 when they release that software, which will be big news in DJing, to have a Rekordbox mobile platform, this unit here is fully compatible with it and gives you so many features that you don't get on the one I just mentioned, the DDJ200, which is the current really very entry-level unit from Pioneer DJ, but no audio card, not really something that you would keep for a long time, I don't think. Whereas something like this, as I say, Our tutor, James Hype, one of the biggest DJs and producers in the world, he absolutely loves his DDJ-400 and he's demoed it, he's used it on the top of hotel rooftops and all that kind of thing. So the DDJ-400 and now the new DDJ-FLX4 are definitely keepers. It's something that even though you might move up the ecosystem with your DJ gear, you probably want to hang on to this. Now, just to point out, as ever, this this is an entry-level controller. People will be buying these for their kids for Christmas or themselves for Christmas. This doesn't need you to own your own music necessarily. It works with all the streaming services because it works with Rekordbox DJ software and Serato DJ software, which contain all the streaming services that traditionally work with DJ gear: Tidal, SoundCloud, Beatport and BeatSource. So that's all there as well, just to cover that one off. Now, the next point I want to make about this, and you've kind of seen it round the back, is the fact that it is now USB-C. It's not the biggest thing to point out, but I quite like this. Pioneer DJ is the only major manufacturer that said, no, we're gonna go for USB-C from now on. They give you one USB-C to USB-C cable in the box, but if you're buying it for your kids or for yourself for Christmas, just bear in mind that if you want to plug it into your computer and you've got an older computer that doesn't have a USB-C connector, you are going to need a USB-C to USB-A adapter to plug it into your computer. So don't let this be the kind of like, oh no, we haven't got the batteries on Christmas morning. Make sure you've got one of those cables somewhere to do that. And also you'll see there's a power cable here as well, power connector, this one. There's no extra cable provided for that. Presumably this is so that you can power your phone or your tablet through the unit when you plug that in, as I say, in early 2023, so that it won't run your battery flat on your mobile device. I'm presuming that's why they've added an extra one there. Just something else, very little to point out here as well. I held up for you the little DDJ-200 unit, and that one works with mobile devices. That's the only one that does at the moment in the Pioneer DJ range. They give you a little cable with that, which allows you to kind of split the audio, so you've got something for your headphones. Without going into too much detail, if you want to use this one in the same way, then you're going to need to buy one of those splitter cables because it's not in the box. It's kind of a niche use case, so don't worry about it. But if you're nodding along and you know what I mean by that, you're going to need to buy that splitter cable as well. So continuing through what's going on here, the other thing I did want to point out, by the way, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, is that kind of little Android mono and stereo. Presumably this is kind of related to that, but we don't know what the Android software is going to look like or why it's not iOS as well and all that stuff. So there's a little button around the back there as well. It'll let you switch that on when that software arrives. Right. What you want to see is, of course, the effects. And there are two new effects in here, which are the things you're going to want to know about because they're very different to what's available on the DDJ-400. And they are these two buttons here, Smart CFX and Smart Fader. So what are they? Well, the Smart CFX is probably the easiest one to explain. So what I'm going to do is just start something playing in Rekordbox. That's just looping, and I'm going to just show you what this button does here with the audio that I've got looped. So if you don't have this turned on, that's just turned off, then you can use this button here, this knob here, as a low pass and high pass filter, which is what I'm doing here. And that's the kind of standard use for this knob here. It gives you a really nice effect that you get on a lot of DJ gear nowadays, probably most. This kind of supercharges this. And the way this works is you can use it to select one of a whole load of preset effects. So by holding that down with the shift button, look on the screen now, you can see it's giving me a whole load of other effects which I can now cycle through. So let's go to the first one, which is called Phantom. Let's have a listen to that one. So it's kind of like a macro effect. And the next one is called Reflect Echo. Now some of these will stop the track kind of playing, it'll turn all the audio off, and some of them won't. That one didn't, for instance. The next one is called Mobius Echo. So what these are doing is combining multiple effects. It's sometimes called a macro effect function that are present in the Rekordbox software to do stuff that would be hard to do otherwise. The next one is called Vaporize. So this is one that stops the music entirely, although the music's still going on. It's just that we can't hear that music. And as ever with this kind of effect, you get a slightly different take on it depending on which way you turn the knob. And then at the middle, it's back to normal. The next one is called Noise Chop. It's like a kind of gate effect with the noise effect mixed in with it. The next one is Cyberjet. I love that, sounds very underworldy, doesn't it? And I also like the way that it steps down through the scale when you're turning it in the other direction. This one is called Cyber Pitch. You can see that being used at the end of the night, right? And the final one is called Twister. These are all great. This is just extra stuff that you can remember, you can dial in and you can use whenever you want. It's a really nice extra use of that knob with just one button. We really like those. I can see DJs who don't have those on their gear, including the big Pro gear like this stuff here. Yes, the effects is on the big Pro Pioneer gear, but it's not as easy to access on one button there. Looking at those and thinking they're brilliant. And as I keep mentioning, James Hype, our tutor, he's well into this kind of stuff. I'm sure when James discovers that, he's going to be using it when he does his occasional videos using more accessible DJ gear as he has done in the past. So that is the smart effects, smart color effects. Easy enough to explain. The next one is the one that I think will divide people, and I'm going to put our cards on the table right at the beginning and say that I think the smart fader is really cool. I've got no problem with it, and I'm a DJ tutor. My job is to teach people counting and timing and proper blending of songs so they work together, and how to program a DJ set and all the skills of DJing, because I came from this stuff, vinyl, and I know the difference between really working on your art and just walking up to something and pressing buttons and thinking it sounds cool. I know all that stuff, and I still think this is really cool because it's going to help beginners, and what it does is actually pretty impossible to do on your own. And anything which makes something that's impossible to do possible is going to find its use, and people who use it properly will do cool stuff, and people who don't, hey, guess what? It's going to sound terrible. What is it though? The point is it's designed to mix from one to another by changing various things about the way each track is set. Think of it as, it's almost like smart sync, it's almost like smart bass EQ, and it's almost like smart auto effects, all mixed into one. So how does it work? Well, the best way to demonstrate it would be for me to get a track on the other deck, and I actually have one already loaded. It's at 94 BPM, and the track we're listening to now is at 125 BPM. So these two tracks would not normally mix well together at all. So that one's at the beginning there. Then I'm just going to turn on Smart Fader, and mix between the two and just listen very carefully to what happens. So what happened there was, it changed the BPM as I moved that fader across. It altered the BPM from the BPM of the first track to the BPM of the second track. And then the second thing it did was remove the bass from the first track as I moved that fader across progressively. These are things DJs often do anyway. And it therefore allowed me to mix between two tracks with very big BPM differences. Now, what maybe wasn't very clear there was what it did at the very end of the outgoing track, because it literally ended. So what it did at the very end was put an echo in as well. So let's just do that one more time. Now you know what you're looking out for here. And this time we will kind of try and show you that echo coming in at the end. So let's hit play. Start the other track. I turned that down just so you could hear that echo going on. Now, three things then that I could spot: BPM change, taking the bass out of the outgoing track and sticking a little half beat echo or whatever it was in at the very, very end. As I say, that's quite hard to do, because in order to echo the outgoing track at the BPM of the new track, you'd either have to tap it in or lock them with sync and move them together anyway. And this will do it all for you. This is great. I've got no problem with this. I think it's a great, smart little feature, and I think everyone should have a play with it. And look, just for quickly banging tracks together from a streaming service at a party, imagine that you come home from the pub with your friends or whatever, or you've come back from a festival and you've got your DJ gear set up and you've dialed in your streaming service and everyone is saying, oh, can you play this? Oh, can you play that? Oh, can you play that? At those times, you probably don't give a monkeys about DJing properly. You just want to play music. And this will give you a really nice way of mixing between those tunes. You know, it's not going to turn you into a DJ, but as a teacher, I've got no problem with that. I think that's really nice. So well done to Pioneer for adding that. Certainly massively better than the way they tried to implement kind of like, hey, I'm the DJ stuff on the Flex 6, which I really viscerally didn't like. It was a massive button at the top here that just didn't sound very good and was just, I didn't like it at all. So well done, Pioneer DJ. It's the same kind of thing, but it's far more subtle. Look, if you don't want it, don't press that button. The unit is laid out and it works like any DJ unit. So a serious DJ who's not into that stuff needn't even look at that stuff. And that's absolutely fine. So yep, we love that stuff. Okay, so let's now move on and have a little talk about the differences between this and the DDJ-400. So the DDJ-400, which I have down here somewhere, was the one that everyone wanted beforehand. So what's the differences? Let's run through them one by one individually. They really are very, very similar. Just a few things that are different. You've got a dark grey decal instead of a black. The edges are rounded, which looks quite nice actually compared to this. There's no handholds. These have got like handhold bits here, cutouts. There's no cutouts on the edge of the new one. The jog wheels are matte. Actually, your hand's a little bit better on the jog wheels on the new one. A very slight change to the mapping. Your 4B in on the old one, you had to hold this button down. On this one here, you just tap this button here. I think that's more standard the way they've done that. New USBs around the back. The fact that the new one works with Serato, and the fact that it's got forthcoming mobile stuff, which is more like the DDJ-200. Definitely evolution and not revolution, but as I said at the very start, that is a good thing. Right, let's conclude then. I can conclude in 3 words, or 2 words if I was Joe Biden. Buy 400. This is it for the 400. There's no reason not to buy the new unit, because the new unit does everything the 400 did, as well or not better, if not better, and loads of other stuff as well. It's future-proofed. It's really a record box controller, although it does work with Serato. The stuff I showed you on these two buttons here, for instance, does kind of work with Serato, but even in Pioneer DJ's own words, not as well. So we didn't dial those in and figure out why they don't work as well. We'll just take their word for it. So it's really a record box controller, but the fact that it works with Serato as well is just good, especially for DJs who want that flexibility. They're not sure what they want to use. You can try both pieces of software for free. The mobile stuff is exciting. It's going to be good to be able to use this on your phone and on your tablet. And as I say, the Rekordbox DJ mobile platform itself sounds really exciting. We're looking forward to seeing that in early 2023. This is the new entry-level standard. All you need to do is buy this, plug the thing in, and you can DJ, you can play with loads of cool stuff, you can get all your streaming services on it. Decent pair of speakers that don't have any latency on them, another thing you're going to need to buy. I'm talking to all you parents looking to buy this for your kids for Christmas, so make sure you get some wired speakers, and that's really all you need. The only other thing to remind you of is make sure you've got the right leads. There's only one USB-C to USB-C lead in the box, so make sure you've at least got one that can plug it into your computer if you've got an older computer that needs a USB-A. And that's it, the Digital DJ Tips look at the new Pioneer DDJ-FLX4. If you've enjoyed this review and you'd like more from Digital DJ Tips, we are the world's leading DJ school. We have 27 DJ courses from names like Laidback Luke, James Hype, DJ Angelo, and all our tutors here, covering everything from beginner all the way up to advanced, including a course on using Rekordbox, the primary software for this. So come and have a look at digitaldjtips.com and go to digitaldjtips.com/join to become our latest member. It's free, and we can give you our weekly Tuesday tips email, which will help you become a better DJ and producer. So digitaldjtips.com/join. Meanwhile, this is Phil in the Digital DJ Tips studio saying get good, get out there, make the moments, and I'll see you again in another review very soon.